Rogue One, a Star Wars Story 2016 film directed by Gareth Edwards, who also made Godzilla and The Creator. Co-written by Tony Gilroy, starring Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Alan Tudyk, Donnie Yen, Ben Mendelsohn, Forest Whitaker, Riz Ahmed, and Mads Mikkelsen. This was made as a direct prequel to A New Hope, leading directly into it and telling the story of a group of brave rebels who stole the Death Star plans, leading to the eventual victory by the Rebel Alliance and Luke Skywalker. Now, when I first saw this film in theaters, I wasn't as wowed by it as some of the fans and critics. I've seen a lot of opinions that it's excellent, that it's the strongest Star Wars movie or at least the strongest since the original trilogy. I thought it was okay at best and identified a number of flaws with it. So Jyn Erso is a very weak protagonist, the least interesting character in the wide cast. The pacing is too quick and there is too little character development for all these newly introduced people. The sequence on Eadu is kind of boring. There is very questionable use of CG deepfakes for Tarkin and Leia instead of just recasting those roles. But most of all, it was the characters. It was that I never found myself caring about any of this. But the movie also had strengths. The final act was incredible, although it does sort of become a different movie. It's more of a spy/heist film up until that point, and then suddenly in the third act it becomes this giant space battle. I liked K2SO and Chirrut. I loved Ben Mendelsohn's flashy performance as well as Vader's hallway scene at the end. I also loved the visuals throughout the film, but especially during the Jedha destruction sequence. And again, the final battle was filmed very, very well. Now, I have rewatched the film recently because I've just finished Andor, which was made as a direct prequel to this film. And I have to say that as much as Andor still remains way above Rogue One in terms of quality and also sort of maturity and depth, its existence does, I think, improve the movie retroactively. At least it does for me. It's kind of a similar situation to Avengers Age of Ultron, where at the time of release I considered that film to be flawed and okay at best, but with other media released after it, it has become better. It works better as part of a larger whole that now exists. And I think with Rogue One, the main reason for the improved experience is my emotional attachment to Cassian Andor and K2SO, and even Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma from the show. Having spent so much time with them, I now care deeply about these characters and understand them way more. I also loved seeing Melshi as an almost unnamed background extra here. He's also in the show, and now just seeing his face and hearing his name, I was very happy to have someone familiar here. I will say that I wish that the two properties aligned even better in terms of tone, especially. Andor was way darker and more adult, but also just for characters that could have returned if those two things were made in reverse order, like Kleya or Wilman. I would still say that the previously identified flaws are all there. I can still see them. I still don't care about Jyn. I still think there's no character development, and the pace of the first two acts is absolutely too frantic. And I wish that especially this part of the story could have just been 2 or 3 more seasons of Andor instead, with a more serious, deliberate tone, more breathing room, and less space opera at the end. But I'll take what I can get, and I think it's a solid conclusion to Andor's arc from the show as it is. In my mind, the movie now goes from alright to good, and I certainly enjoyed it slightly more than I did upon release.